Another short video here about how I tune this thing. I get tons and tons of questions about how it's tuned. It is not tuned. This is a 95, which is a factory mass air 5-liter Bronco with a stock engine except for an E303 Ford Motorsport cam that I actually bought used from a Mustang guy for $30. Internally, other than that, it is 100%, 170,000 miles stock motor. I did replace the timing chain with a new chain, and I did put a different oil pan on it. It's a stock pan, but that I welded a bung onto it for the oil return. But other than that, it has never been touched inside, or at least as long as I've had it to my knowledge. But the only thing I use for tuning is a BBK adjustable fuel pressure regulator for a Mustang. Same rail, obviously, on the truck motor. And timing, that's it. I set the ignition timing and I add or subtract fuel pressure. I do not have the vacuum port hooked up to the engine because when you go into boost, it forces the regulator closed harder and raises the fuel pressure too high, which was causing me to have a lot of too rich condition. So it actually works better with just static fuel pressure. I have it set about, I think it's like 57, 58 psi. But it holds that all the time using a custom mounted hanger that I made in a BBK 255 liter per hour pump in the tank. It's just a Mustang pump. You make a little steel bracket that holds it in place. Supplies plenty of fuel. It'll deadhead about 80 psi if you block the line. And that's when its internal regulator bypasses. But these are 24-pound injectors, and this is a C&L air meter that has the little sample tubes you can change. I think there's a purple sample tube in it. I can't remember, but this is one for 87 to 93 mass air Mustang. But the connector, obviously, it's just a housing, and you remove your stock air meter and slide it down in the housing. You can change the sample tube if you're still too rich or too lean. But the one this one came with was for 24-pound injectors for a 93 Mustang, and it worked real well. With the truck computer, it seems to like it just fine. I get it idle. It idles right between 14:1 and 15:1 on the air fuel ratio, and is smooth under part throttle. Throttle response is good, and I get anywhere from 11.5 to 12:1 fuel ratio under boost, which is you can change obviously by adding pressure and that. Now the timing, I run factory stock base timing with a mixture of 110 octane race fuel and 93 octane. Now, I don't drive this very often, obviously, so I don't worry about the fuel. It's expensive. It's about $10 a gallon for 110 octane, but it's irrelevant because it's purely an off-road truck. It is not driven on the road. It's hauled on that gooseneck trailer over there everywhere it goes. But that's how I have it adjust the mixture and tune. Like I said, it was very simple. I mean, I run it. If it's a little too lean, I put another crank in the fuel pressure regulator. If it's a little too rich, I'll back it out. But once you get it set at part throttle, the computer is adjusting the fuel based on the O2, and it runs just like stock. When you go into wide open throttle or open loop, that's when you need to make your adjustments for boost. But other than that, there really is no tuning required. If you were going to run this on the street, that kind of thing, it would probably be better to get some sort of tunable computer, an AEM or something like that. But for off-road use, this is more than adequate, and it runs great. I mean, I'm not running high boost pressure. I think I'm at 8 psi, which is probably, and it's not that powerful. Maybe 350 horsepower. But that's more than enough. I mean, it's easily more than enough to get yourself into lots of trouble with it off-road. And it's inexpensive. I've run it like this for several years now with zero engine problems, so I'm not pushing any sort of limits, and drive it with, a bit of respect. Not too much, obviously. You can tell from the mud, but it gets beat on. But that's how it's tuned. Other than simple fuel adjustments and buying a wideband, it really didn't require anything else. So there you go. Thanks.